Is it possible, and how long would it take to breed a dog with intelligence comparable to a human? So it could understand language, read, learn maths and so on. Maybe even a few adaptations so it could speak. One day I was thinking about this and I thought I'd annoy an evolutionary biologist, so I sent him an email. And he responded saying, "This is an interesting question. I suspect that it would take more than a couple of hundred generations to produce a dog with human-like linguistic abilities. That would require major restructuring of the brain, as well as the larynx, tongue, etc. Full human intelligence would probably require many thousands of generations, and I don't think a canine, which is very different from a primate in many ways, would ever evolve the same kind of intelligence that we have, even if it could perhaps evolve to be much smarter than it is now. On the other hand, there's some evidence that certain dog breeds have acquired an impressive ability to understand human language." And that's the end of his email. So it doesn't look like there's any reason that we could not breed a dog with a brain about the same size as a human's brain. And it could have probably the same level of performance in many ways. They could start studying literature and physics and so on. But they're still going to be probably a very different type of being. They won't see the world the same way. They won't have the same perspective that a human does. If you think about how different people can be even between cultures when they're physically exactly the same, imagine what this self-aware creature with a completely different background to you would be like. If you're skeptical about this happening, there are plenty of instances where we've seen rapid evolution occur. For example, in 1971, some Italian scientists moved these lizards from one island to another where they didn't exist before, and they noticed massive differences in the head size and shape, increased bite strength, new structures in their digestive tracts, and dramatic changes in population density and social structure. I think the most surprising part to them was the digestive tract stuff, because there were completely new structures that evolved. And when humans start breeding animals intentionally for certain traits, it speeds up just as fast as that. It only took several generations for Russian scientists to breed completely domesticated foxes. What this all means in summary is that if we really wanted to, we could create a Planet of the Apes kind of situation with an animal of our choice, so that we are not the only self-aware, sentient, highly intelligent beings on the planet. And I mean a human level of intelligence. And if you factor in genetic modification, there's no way it isn't possible. Of course, that raises a lot of ethical issues, to say the least. But as far as I'm concerned, that kind of thing doesn't really bother me. I'm far more concerned by the environmental damage that we do. I think it's worse to destroy a few hundred species than to create a new one. I think they'd have to be treated with care and respect. Basically, if you bring about a sentient creature, you should treat it as such. But if you don't agree and you think we shouldn't do it just because it doesn't feel right, I get it. It's pretty fucking weird.